Hello, my name is Nana and welcome to this Plan With Me video where I will be setting up my bullet journal for June. This month's theme is songbirds and it's inspired by a song called the Cuckoo Song by Cosmo Sheldrakes, because there's a line in that goes, "In June I change my tune," and I thought that was kind of perfect for this middle of the year month, sort of looking back at the half of the year that has passed and also looking forward at what I want to achieve in the rest of the year. But because I hate drawing birds, instead I went to the thrift store and got a book about birds and that had some drawings that I liked. I also got a book with some sheet music, and then I used a couple of other things that I had just lying around to do this collage theme instead of a drawing heavy theme. And as you can see right now, I am working on the title, and this is the first of many things that just did not go my way while I was doing this setup. So if you know Danish, you can probably tell that I am writing down the wrong month on this sheet of paper. Like I said, that was the first of many things that went wrong. Mostly it was just technology that didn't really want to cooperate with me while I was making this. My setup when I'm filming is far from perfect. I use my phone to film, and I keep it in a selfie stick that is sort of lodged between my table and the wall, and then I use a kneadable eraser to keep it in place. Like I said, not a perfect system, but it usually works. But when I was filming this, it just did not want to stay in place. And then on top of that, I forgot that my phone runs out of battery really quickly when it's filming. So yeah, it died while I was filming. So you'll see when I get to my habit tracker and my expense tracker that it just very suddenly is almost completely finished because it died. And then when I had it up and running again, it ran out of storage space. So I also lost some footage on that account. But I did the best I could, and here I'm making another mistake by marking Friday as a weekend day. I know we all want Friday to be the weekend, but that was a mistake, so I'm just covering that up. But yeah, it was a bit annoying because usually bullet journaling is this really relaxing thing for me. It sort of helps me to just, be in the moment while I'm doing this, and I feel sort of recharged and energized afterwards. And instead, I was just frustrated with everything after I've done this. But by some kind of miracle, I'm actually still really happy with how this whole setup turned out. And also, like I said, all the things that I'm using to do this collage is sort of found objects. So the birds and the sheet music I found in some books at a thrift store, and then the rest is stuff that I had lying around from like stuff I cut out of magazines, or that I just found, like the craft paper is from a takeout bag from a sushi place, because that's how I prefer doing collaging. Is just sort of, I think half the fun is hunting for things to use while I'm making a collage. And I see a lot of people finding pictures on Pinterest and printing them, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I just, like I said, I think half the fun is trying to find the perfect pictures in magazines and books and using them. But let me know in the comments if you ever do any collages in your bullet journal, and if you do, how you go about it. I haven't done a lot of collaging in my bullet journal before, so I also don't have much of a method on how to do it, but as you can see, I'm just sort of putting the things down on the page to begin with until I feel happy with how it's looking, and then I glue it in afterwards. I think that's how most people do it, so yeah, that just made sense. But on this page, maybe I should talk about what I'm doing. On this page, this is sort of my journaling page. So on the left page, I have my a room for writing down my focus of the month, and a room to write down my memories for the month. And then on the right page, I have a place to write down the books I'm reading throughout the month, and a place to write down the music I am listening to throughout the month. So this is sort of a page I can look back at in the future to get an idea of what this month was like when I was living through it, and hopefully it will be better than how I got into this month with a lot of technical issues. But I will say a thing I really liked about this setup and filming it as well is that usually when I'm filming a bullet journal setup, I say as if I've done it a million times, but the previous few times I've done it, I always do everything in pencil first, so I have pretty much the entire setup planned down to the last detail before I start filming. But I didn't do that with this one because I was doing a collage, so I wasn't drawing a bunch of stuff, and that was really nice. I was really nervous, and it was kind of nerve-wracking, just going through the whole progress while filming. But it was just a nice process, and I think it's part of the reason why I like the final outcome as much as I do, because it just seems sort of very natural, if that makes sense. Like it's very not perfect, especially the titles, because I usually do those in pencil first to make sure that they are perfectly centered and exactly how I want them. But with a lot of them, I just went straight in with the pen, like I do with this one, as you can see. And then I felt like it was a little too high up, so I added some doodles around it to balance it, and that was just a really nice process to, yeah, just go with the flow. And here you can see how my notes page is just whoopsie done because I did not film it. I'm singing to mask the pain. Yeah, but my notes page is sort of it's like a brain dump page. I just call it a notes page. Yeah, this voiceover is probably just as chaotic as the rest of the process was, but I just don't want to talk about like how I use my habit trackers, because it's the same every month anyway. So for me, it just makes sense to talk about what I was going through, what I was while I was setting this up, and now I'm doing my weekly layout, and at this point I had just had it. And in just a few seconds you will see me run into the last difficulty I had with this setup, so for helvede. That is a Danish swear, in case you were wondering, and as you can probably tell, my patience was running really thin at this point. But I took a deep breath, I cleaned up the dirt and moved on, because I really just wanted to be finished with this setup. And actually looking back at it, it's just kind of funny. I can laugh at it now. I think the weekly setup is far from the best setup in this whole thing, because like I said, I kind of just wanted to get it over with. So there are a few things that I wish I had done differently. For example, the lines I'm making now. I usually don't make as many lines because I like to keep it more open, but for some reason a lot of lines just happened and I don't love how it turned out. I also don't love how this bird turned out. I really tried to fix it, but it just didn't go my way. Lots of things didn't go my way, but like I said in the beginning, I do actually overall like how this setup turned out, and I do think that the songbird and the idea of changing my tune is a good theme for me this month, and a good reminder that, you know, when things aren't going my way, to take a deep breath and change my tune and move on and keep going. And that brings us to the end of this setup. So now the only thing that is left is the final flip through. So if you made it through this entire video, thank you so much. As you can tell, it was a struggle to make it, so thank you for watching it. And if you liked it, please consider liking. If you want to see more, please consider subscribing. I promise not to whine as much in future videos. Actually, I can't make that promise, but I do hope to see you again. And until then, take care. Bye.